This time at the season that begins in just 5 days. It has been a different kind of spring training. Usually the front office uses this time to decide who can and who can't play. That hasn't been the case this spring. What Giants president and general manager Al Rosen needed to find out was how well the walking wounded have recovered.
Well, we knew these fellows could play if they were healthy. But as a rule, you're right, Gary. You go to spring training and you expect everybody to be in good shape. You expect them to be able to play. The big problem we had over the winter was really making decisions. We weren't in a position to do any trading because we didn't know what we should be trading for. We weren't in a position to do anything else, such as our minor league system, because we didn't know what to bring up. We had all sorts of unanswered questions. And when I got here and got around with Roger and some of the other people on our staff, it became evident very rapidly that our players had progressed so far that we wouldn't have the kind of problems that I unbelievably felt that we would have. You know, I was sort of apprehensive at first when I came into camp.
You told us before spring training started that the Giants were going to win the National League West. Have you seen anything that would force you to change your mind?
No, not at all. I've been known as the eternal optimist, and if you're going to play, you may as well win. And I feel this ball club has all the ingredients to win. I think everybody knows how I feel about Roger Craig and his managerial talents and the way he gets the most out of ball players. The players have responded so well, and they're doing so many things. It can be attested by our spring training schedule. They know how to win. They've got a quiet confidence and maturity about them because now they find out that winning is more fun than losing. And I see no reason why our ball club can't go on. I think we have a chance to be very solid all season, assuming we had, you know, the kind of things that happened to us last year don't happen again. But certainly I'm very confident about this ball club. I really believe this ball club can win it all.
How have the injured recovered? Who is physically ready to start the season? Giants head trainer Mark Luton.
Roger Mason has been throwing the ball well. He's seen lots of action, hasn't shown any signs of shoulder weakness, which caused his elbow problem last year, so that he's pretty much a maintenance type of person now. We've taken him off the rehab list.
Adley Hammaker.
Hammaker's progressed well, too. He's slowed himself in certain phases of delivery. Norm Sherry and Roger Craig have worked with him on that, but through proper pitching mechanics and proper rehabilitation, he's right on line. Jim Gott is probably the guy that is beating the odds right now with his serious surgery that he had last year. His shoulder has responded well. He continues to be in a rehabilitation mode, so to speak. Greg Minton was slowed earlier this spring with a history of shoulder ailment. It wasn't due to his elbow. His elbow is quite well. Dr. Gordon Campbell, our team physician, performed arthroscopic surgery, as you well know, and hasn't had any problems. It has helped his pitching mechanics because he's able to extend his arm more than normal. Will Clark doesn't seem to have any problems whatsoever. He is not even on a maintenance program. He's a daily player now. We don't consider him a rehab person whatsoever. He straps it on and goes gets him. Robbie Thompson, his knee hasn't shown any ill effects from surgery in the offseason. He's recently been slowed by a bulging disc of a small nature in his low back, and we've also found that his hips don't align correctly. So through proper care with Dr. Gordon Campbell back at Palo Alto and perhaps an orthotic to help raise that shorter leg, we hope that that'll alleviate the problem. Chris Brown, I sat down and was just in total disbelief at the progress that he has made. He's a gentleman that has spent a lot of time and a lot of hard work trying to overcome probably one of the more serious surgeries that we had in the offseason. We'll see better as his track record becomes longer on how he's going to respond to that left shoulder injury. Hackman is Jeffrey Leonard, probably the most fiercest competitor in baseball, and he's shown what he can do with a bat. He hasn't shown any ill effects of his right wrist nor of his two knees that have been worked on. Therefore, I'm happy to announce that Jeffrey is part of a maintenance and not a rehab at this time. Chili Davis has responded well. He's somewhat slowed with mobility, and that's going to be the last thing. Range of motion is going to be the last thing for Chili. You have to keep in mind that the doctor had to go in and surgically repair what we would normally have anatomically and range of motion was cut down. Now we have to slowly try to get that back, and that's going to be a long process, but as far as his playing and his ability to go out in the outfield, it hasn't really encumbered him too much. Therefore, again, that's another smiling face on my part. I'm very happy with that.
We'll be back with my new broadcast partner, Ron Fairley, right after this.
6 centuries ago, in Bavaria, a beer was born. Lowenbrau, German for the Lion's Brew. Now brewed in England, Japan, Sweden, Canada, and America. Still under license and authority of Lowenbrau Munich. Rich Bavarian flavor brewed fresh and smooth in America. It's the best way in the world to brew beer.
This world calls for Lowenbrau right now.
Imagine waking up to find everything just as good as it can be. Imagine having nothing but the best to look forward to.
Skies should be sunny for the rest of the century.
Now imagine the remarkable new Prius, imported by Mitsubishi, with front-wheel drive and independent suspension, and the pure enjoyment of over 60 standard features, all for just over $5,000. The new Prius. Now that it's here, maybe everything else will fall into place. The new Prius, imported by Mitsubishi.
Tapes rolling. Cue announcer. 3, 2, stand by.
A TV sports director has to prepare a game plan because during the action, he's got to make split-second decisions.
Take 2.
There's a lesson here for people who direct companies.
Take 2.
Excellent businesses know when to plan and when to act.
Take 6.
In California, one bank gives you the responsiveness of a local bank, backed by the strength of one of the largest financial institutions in the world, Union Bank. If you're in search of business excellence, call the business bank.
Experience Marine World Africa USA for less with Safeway. Visit your local Safeway for general admission tickets at $2 off the regular price. Good for adults, children, and seniors. You'll love the Killer Whale and Dolphin Show, the Ski Show, the Sea Lion Show, the Jungle Theater, and more. Starting April 11th, the park will be open every Wednesday through Sunday. So enjoy Marine World Africa USA in Vallejo, where you can get closer to exotic animals with a little help from your friends at Safeway, where you get an honest deal every day.
Four weeks ago, we asked how Ron Fairley would adapt to a new team in a new league. Fairly well, thank you. Here's Ron calling a spring game, sorting out the intricacies of Roger Craig's offense, and then visiting with longtime friend Willie Mays.
This afternoon, once again, Ron Fairley.
Thank you very much, Wayne. Hello once again, everybody. As we said, a good day for baseball. Right now, Roger Mason is on the mound, starting to loosen up. He was strictly a starter throughout his career. He had arm trouble last year. We've talked about that. Some tenderness in the elbow, tendonitis, and then eventually went on the disabled list. Still just one man gone. That brings up their big left fielder, Jose Canseco. And he is big. And he is strong. Talking with a couple of the open A's yesterday, they said he hit a couple of balls 450 feet. They said the first number's wrong. Here's a curveball here. The ground is shortstop. Escobar has it. Goes to Willard. On the mark, they turn the double play. A 6-4-3 double play, and Mason gets out of the inning. No runs on a couple of hits. A man is left, and after a half inning of play here in Scottsdale, no score. Roger Craig is the kind of a manager who is really not very predictable, and Roger likes it that way. And, of course, the players and their ability dictates a lot as to what Roger can do. If you think that the hit and run should be on, well, maybe that's the time you might be sacrificing someone along. If the play calls for possibly a squeeze, well, maybe he may not do so. But then look for Roger Craig to squeeze, possibly first pitch, and when they need one more run. And, yes, he will squeeze early in the ballgame. So he's a very, very sly fox out there that wears that number 33, and it should be a lot of fun to watch him go through the 1987 season. And so now the Giants have runners at second and third, one man away, and the pitcher Mason coming to the plate. Yes, indeed, Roger Craig would on the squeeze. The answer is yes, he would. And the big left-hander comes to play, squeezes on, pitched out, and they have Brenly hung up between home and third, and they tag him out. The catcher running down the line tags Brenly, and the squeeze did not work. And the pitch is on the way, and he swings. Base hit into right center field. And Mason comes through. Matt Williams scores. 1-0 Giants. What about the attitude in spring training? I think the attitude down here is great.
Well, that's one thing that they got across to the guys last year, and I think it was a very, very difficult thing to do because if you look around, all these kids are very young kids, and a lot of them didn't know anything. They need
direction.
They need direction. Plus, they didn't know anything about the Giants' winning attitude. And what they did is they put all this together as far as winning, not losing, winning. And coming from last back up to third, I know a lot of guys say, well, gee, we should have a chance to win first. Okay, that's fine. But coming from last to third, that's a whole new thing. And I think the tribute should go to the players. The players did it all themselves. You can say that everybody that was surrounding them helped. They help very little because every time you go in between those white lines, they have to do it themselves. And I myself was very proud that I could be a part of it during spring. I couldn't do anything during the course of a season because it's too hard on the kids. So what I try and do is just watch. Every now and then I may pick up something they do wrong, and I remind them, hey, you didn't do this in spring. Why don't you go back to your regular thing, what you've been doing? And I think they enjoyed me doing things that way.
We'll hear from the players, their hopes for the season, right after this.
Imagine waking up to find everything just as good as it can be. Imagine having nothing but the best to look forward to.
Skies should be sunny for the rest of the century.
Now imagine the remarkable new Prius, imported by Mitsubishi, with front-wheel drive, an independent suspension, and the pure enjoyment of over 60 standard features, all for just over $5,000. The new Prius. Now that it's here, maybe everything else will fall into place. The new Prius, imported by Mitsubishi.
They called for it on the Marienplatz in Munich. They called for it in the Canadian Rockies. And they called for it in Newport Beach, California. Lowenbrow, brewed around the world. Taste it and you'll know why. Rich Bavarian hops and supervision, brewed fresh and smooth in America. It's the best way in the world to brew beer.
This world calls for Lowenbrow right now.
In business, contacts are everything. And we're delivering business contacts by the truckload in the Pacific Bell Business Buyer's Guide. If you buy goods or services for your company anywhere in Northern California, this directory is indispensable.
It gives me suppliers outside my local area.
Now, whatever I need to buy for my business, I can find in one book.
Look for the Pacific Bell Business Buyer's Guide. It really delivers Northern California businesses.
And it's free.
Did you ever wish for adventure? Wish for romance? Wish for the luck of the Irish?
To be sure.
Jack Wharton is